Hi everybody, it's me, Angel Benton. It's time for another edition of Angel Sudsy Recap, where we delve into the world of daytime television. That's a little close. This is a little close. Okay, let's get a little... Here we go. Sorry. And we do a few reality shows on the side. Now, today we're talking all about Young and the Restless, all right? So here's the thing with Young and the Restless. I want to go into something that I should have mentioned on last week's recap. So on the shows 2 weeks ago, we found out, well, there was this one scene between Billy and Phyllis, and it was either in Los Angeles or in Chancellor Park, which is the studio in Los Angeles, which it's actually outdoors now, but, you know, it's not the same as that fucking park from Days. Anyway, so there was a scene with the two of them where Billy says, you know, Okay, it was in Genoa City, it was in Chancellor Park, and the reason why was because Billy, the whole hockey deal had blown up in his face, and Billy had tendered his resignation, and they were waiting on whether or not Victoria would accept it. So, while they were waiting on Victoria, Phyllis offered Billy a job with Fenmore's. And he says, you know, we've worked together before at Brash and at a Restless Style, and that didn't end up that well. Now, kudos to the writers for remembering that. That's good. I love that. That was a good use of history. But then he says this, but we were two different people back then. Which is supposed to be a wink to the audience because they were both played by other people who are now on General Hospital. You know, that was back when Billy was played by Billy Miller, and who's now Jason on General Hospital. And Phyllis was played by Michelle Stafford, who's now Nina on General Hospital. So that's what he was saying when he's like, oh, well, we were different people back then. Because, I mean, he didn't really wink. But, I mean, that's... And honestly, I hate that bullshit. I hate that. Whereas on the one hand, I'm very complimentary that the writers remembered that history of the Restless Style. AKA, what was that show that Hillary was on? GC Buzz. AKA GC Buzz, AKA the Leanna Love Show, if we really want to take it back. But it's annoying how they kind of acknowledge that they write for different people in different ways. And in a way, and I hate that. I hate that. If it is a character, you write for the specific character. Now, if that particular actor has aspects of that character that you want to bring out, then you can do that in slow, metered ways. You don't just let this person take over. And it's not so much that he's taking over, but like on Bold and the Beautiful, I know I'm jumping a lot in between soaps today, sorry. But on Bold and the Beautiful, that's exactly what they did to Ridge Forrester. Like, Ridge has always been kind of a playboy and always had, you know, issues with Rick. But he's never been so unlikable as he is since he's been played by Torsten K. Now, here's the thing. I loved his other characters. I loved him as Zach on All My Children. I loved him as Patrick Thornhart on One Life to Live. So, it's not like I think he's a bad actor or that he's even a different actor than Ron Moss, who used to play Ridge. But it's annoying that he's being written completely different than they normally write Ridge. And the head writer is the same, has been the same. So it just makes me wonder, like, what are you thinking? What is going on? What? Anyways, so I just thought I needed to touch on that because that happened, that scene was 2 weeks ago. And while I do appreciate that on one hand, on the other hand, I hate it. So there you go, the good and the bad. You take them both, there you have the facts of life. That's a joke for all you old people like me that will get it. Okay, so, moving on. Okay, so now let's talk about this past week. So this past week, okay, so here's the thing. Cameo, my friend at work, Cameo and I were speculating about Graham. And she was like, hey, is Graham Dina's kid? And at first, at the beginning of the week, I thought, ooh, maybe that's a possibility. But then, as you see them interact, I don't think that's the way that a mother would treat her son. However, I do definitely think that where there's smoke, there's fire. So here is my guesstimate on what's happening, okay? I could be wrong. But I think that Dina's dying and that Graham is her doctor. He might have a finance background, but he is her doctor, right? So, anyways, that's what I think is happening with Dina Mergeron. So we'll see what happens next week with that, because the way they, and you know what? I gotta give Peter Bergman credit. He is incredible. He knows, he will act the shit out of whatever storyline you put in front of him. You could give him something ridiculously ridiculous, like being captive in a bed on some island by Kelly. Or you can give him this scene with his mother that is so touching and moving. And he just acts the shit out of them all. He does it all. He's great. He really is great. And a lot of people were saying at the Daytime Emmys this year, oh, it's not fair for the other actors if they're up against Peter Bergman because he's so fierce. And honestly, I just don't think he cares that much about the Emmys, because he's won quite a few. So I just don't think it's that big on his radar, as much as it was for, let's say, Scott Clifton, who was the first male to win all 3 younger supporting and leading actor categories. So, you know, I just think he's great. I can't sing his praises enough. I think he's fantastic. Not that there aren't other people on the show that are fantastic as well. I just think he is incredible. All right, so then now let's talk about Juliet. Okay, you know, it always kills me because, so Juliet is supposed to be this, you know, Asian woman. And what's funny is that, and she's, on the show, she's half Japanese, half white. But in real life, she's half Chinese, half white. But the reality is I know a chick named Juliet who I work with, or who I used to work with back when I worked on the graveyard shift. She still works for the company, God bless her. And we're actually going out tomorrow night. We're going to go see a Beatles revival called the Fab Four. We're going out drinking ahead of time, because I'm not a huge Beatles fan. But next week she wanted to take me to the Magic of ABBA, which is a revival of ABBA. And I am down for that. So I was like, I will go with you to both of those. But I'm going to get a little bit liquored up before the Beatles. But anyways, so be prepared. Tomorrow I might make a boo-hooey Sudsy recap. I don't think so, though, because I think I'll probably do it before I go out. All right, so moving on. So I know this chick named Juliet, who is, every time every time they talk about Juliet, I always think about my Juliet. So anyways, so Juliet she is going at Brash and Sassy with both barrels. And the reality is Hillary is kind of pulling her strings a little bit, but she's got a case. I mean, Kane should have kept it in his pants. I'm sorry. And not just that, but he should have come clean about it right afterwards and said, you know what, I totally had sex with that woman. Right? But he didn't. And instead, he made this problem worse. And he could have come clean to Victoria and said, hey, you know what? We did have sex in Tokyo, but it was consensual, blah, 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 right? But he chose to lie about that too. So I guarantee you that is going to come back and bite him right in the ass, because that is crazy. Anyways. So yeah, so she's going at it with full force. Chloe. Let's talk a little bit about Chloe. Chloe came back from the dead. You know, at first I was a little bit disappointed. I'm like, they're going to kill Chloe off like that without that. But on the other hand, it's like, can't they let anyone just stay dead on soaps ever? It's always got to be some sort of plot, some sort of nefarious scheme, whatever. She comes out of her coffin and she scares Kevin half to death. To be perfectly honest with you, I probably would have shot her, because I would have been like, who the fuck are you? You're a zombie, right? Or chopped her head off or something, right? But she was like, meet me at this address. This isn't a dream. I'm not dead, but don't say anything. Do not say anything. Please meet me at this address. And she gives him the doctor's address that's taking care of her back in Louisiana. So, you know, I on the one hand, It's one of those, you take the good and you take the bad, because the good part is okay, so she's not gonna die as we thought, very unceremoniously taking the pills, because you think if it's gonna be suicide, she's gonna have at least one last scene to tear that scenery and just rip it and then take the pills and then die, right? But we didn't see that, so I felt a little bit cheated out of that, because it's not like that would require any sort of extra set or anything or location shot or anything, right? But on the other hand, it's annoying that it's all part of some schemes, irritating. But it did give Kevin amazing scenes with Michael. Their scenes together, his goodbye scenes to Michael, impeccably done. Beautiful. He will get work. I guarantee you, if he wants to, he will get work. He is a great little actor. Okay, so having said all of that, I do want to, oh, and what? I'm caught up now. What? Right as I'm about to leave town on Monday, but whatever. It's just for 2 days, so I think I can get through this. So I just want to say thank you all so much for logging on today. I do appreciate it. Please feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Angel Benton. You can also hashtag YR to talk Young and the Restless, or you can hashtag GH to talk General Hospital, which I'm going to be doing tomorrow. And you can hit that little subscribe button on your YouTube page, so you get more of my shows put in your inbox every single day. And I just want to say thank you so much. I hope you all have a great night tonight. And I will probably do my recap tomorrow before the Beatles show. And then the next day, I'll do my Real Housewives of Potomac recap. And I'll tell you how the show was, too. Okay, thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great day. Peace out. Wubba, wubba, wubba.